Hey guys, welcome back to the 52-week project. This week I did another photo shoot in Los Angeles, like last week's video as well. So I'm actually doing a few of these recordings in a row because I did about 3 shoots on the one day. So this particular shoot was with a model called Anna. She was amazing, also a really professional model from the Ukraine, and she's been living in LA for a little while doing some modelling work there. So I've actually put her details in the description box below, so feel free to go and check out her feed as well. This particular shoot was a really good turning point, I think, for me with my photography. And I don't know, you guys might not be able to see it, but I kind of am seeing some improvements in my work that I'm really excited about. And I think particularly this week, I feel like I'm getting more of a fashion edge with my work, and that's what I'm really wanting to do. And I think being in Los Angeles really helped that, because there's so much work there for that sort of thing, for fashion and editorials and campaigns and everything to do with photography and fashion. So that's what I was really excited about this week. I was excited with working with some of these agencies, and particularly with Anna, who is also, like I said before, quite experienced. So it was great to work with her. She was really great with posing, which I was just so happy about. I love when I don't even have to direct half the time and models can just go and do their thing, and it's super easy. So I'm going to show you guys some of the behind the scenes from this week, and then I'm going to show you guys the photos, the final edits, and what photos are going in my top 5 this week. Hope you enjoyed the behind the scenes, guys. Now I'm going to show you the photos from this week and let you guys know what photos are going to be in my top 5. Okay guys, so these are my final edits for this week's photo shoot, and I'm going to go through each one of them now and give a brief rundown of what I think of each photo. So this photo is the first in the bunch, and I do like this photo. I think it's a pretty decent fashion shot, and there's a few photos that I feel are very similar to this, so it's not going to be in my top 5. I do like the colouring in it, but it doesn't really interest me enough to put it in my top 5. This is another one that I actually really like, and it's pretty close to being in my top 5 because I do think it's a little bit different. I think the pose is a little bit different, but also it's quite similar to the last photo, and for similar reasons, I'm not going to have it in my top 5 this week. This photo is going to be in my top 5, and I do have a couple of portraits actually this week that I'm putting in my top 5 because I started to use my 85 a little bit more through the shoots that I did on this day, and I really like how they turned out. I thought the bokeh in this one just looks really nice, and it's such a sharp photo, and I love when the 85 is sharp, and it's pretty rare that it ever gets this sharp, but when it does, I think it really looks great, and I really like the quality in this image, so I'm putting it in my top 5 this week. This photo doesn't really wow me that much. I really wanted to get a couple of full body shots in the bunch, and this was just one of them, and that's why I put it in there. But in terms of having it in my top 5, it's not going to be there this week. This is definitely one of my favorite portraits for the week, and it's actually one of my favorite portraits that I've taken in a while. Once again, I really love the quality that's in this image. The 85, I used that again for this particular photo, and I really love how it turned out. It's really quite sharp, and the tones in it I do love as well. I think Anna looks great, so it is going to be in my top 5. I really like this image as well, and I did want to put a few full body shots in, like I said before, and I think this one really works, and I do like how tall Anna looks in the photo, and I kind of like everything that's going on, although it isn't going to be in my top 5 because I feel like there's just a few other photos that really stand out a little bit more to me, but I do like this photo, and it is definitely going to go in my portfolio. Once again, I really like the photo. Very similar to the last shot, I really like how it turned out, and it's probably going to be in my portfolio, but I feel like there's just a few other images that interested me a little bit more, I think, in this particular shoot. I really do like this full body shot, and I like the backdrop. I was really interested by the backdrop and the fact that it really had that kind of Mexico vibe. I didn't put this one in my top 5 though, because I feel like there's not enough emphasis on Anna. I think the background is very sharp and it's very stand out, but I think Anna is just getting a little bit lost in the background that I chose. So unfortunately that one's not going to be in my top 5 this week. This photo is going to be in my top 5 this week, and I really like how it incorporates the background that I was talking about in the last photo, but Anna doesn't really look that lost in it. I think she stands out a lot more, having less of the background in the image, and I do really love this shot, and I love the way that she looks and her expression and her pose, so definitely going in my portfolio and definitely going to be in my top 5. This is another one of those shots where I really, really liked, and I am going to have it in my top 5 as well. I think it's a really cool fashion shot, and I love the palm trees in the background, so in the end I chose this one because it really did have that LA vibe too, which I really liked, and the clothing is really standing out to me as well, so definitely going to be in my top 5. This photo is nice, and I feel like that's kind of all it is. I think Anna's pose, I could have directed her a little bit better with this particular shot, although I still find the photo a little bit interesting, and I really like her expression, and I do like the backdrop, so that's why it's in my final edits, but it's not going to be in my top 5. This photo is going to be the last photo in my top 5 this week. I really love the portrait. Like I said, the background blur that the 85 creates, it really just wins me over every time when the image is sharp, and I really like this image of Anna. I think she almost looks a little bit masculine, and I really love that. I think that gives it a really fashion edge, and I love the outfit that she was wearing as well for this particular shoot, part of the shoot, and I really like the photo overall, so it's going to be in my top 5. I actually really love this image too, although I think there's just things that aren't going on well enough within the photograph. Like, I think the background just kind of annoys me a bit. It's quite overexposed and there's not much going on, and that's fine to have a more simple background, but I think for me it's almost distracting. And she looks great in the photo, and I really feel like if I had a different backdrop in this instance, it would have been in my top 5, but not in this case. And this is my last photo for the week, and I actually really love this photo, and the only reason it's not in my top 5 is because I just felt like the portraits stood out a little bit more to me, and I still think this is a fairly decent fashion image, and I would probably put it in my portfolio, but yeah, overall it's just not creating enough interest for me to put it in there, but yeah, I really like the photo overall. So I actually did find it quite hard to choose a photo to be my number 1 this week, and it doesn't happen often when it's like that, but I think I did have a really good range of photos this week with Anna's shoot. And I think in the end, I went with this photo to be number 1 because it was the one that originally stood out to me pretty much from the beginning. When I took it, when it was on the camera, first thing I noticed was this photo, and I knew I wanted to edit it. I knew I wanted to have it in my portfolio. So that's why I ended up choosing this photo this week. I think it's still got kind of a bit of a fashion edge, even though it's a pretty portrait. And I think that comes with Anna's expression and just kind of the composition of it. I don't know, there's just something that I really find interesting about the shot, whereas sometimes pretty portraits don't have as much interest. I really like this photo overall, so this is going to be my number 1 this week. Hope you really liked the photos from this week. Now I'm going to go through what I think I could have done better and what I think I did really well. So what I think I could have done better this week is actually due to the lighting. Once again, similar to last week, but I think it was planning the shoot a little bit too late in the morning, and the light on the day was extremely strong. It was LA, so it was sunny of course, and it was warm, and it was just really difficult to actually get some shots with really great lighting. So I'm usually a pretty big advocate for know how to shoot at any time of day, but I think for this particular shoot and the style of shoot that I wanted, because I was doing 3 shoots in the day and I was doing one early in the morning and one late in the afternoon, the only other time I had to plan another one was kind of late morning, and unfortunately for me it just didn't work out too much with lighting a lot of the time. So I think next time I'm just going to keep that in mind, as I should as a photographer. You know, that's one of the first things you kind of learn about is lighting. So I think next time if I do a shoot like that, I'm just going to have to make sure it's in the early morning or late afternoon to really get that soft light that I wanted to. One thing I did well this week is I felt like I was really quite specific with the mood board. And I did this purposefully for all 3 shoots that I did on this particular day because I wanted it to go smoothly and I wanted it to be planned, and I had a lot going on that day, so I wanted to be as organised as humanly possible. I even had a schedule, which I usually don't always do for shoots, but I had like a time schedule and it really helped me. And I think with the mood board I was really specific with clothing in particular, and Anna just nailed the mood board. She had the best selection of clothes and it was so easy to actually style what she had. And she just really got it. She really got the mood board, and I'm so happy that I actually was organised when it came to that this week, because that's something I'm not always too good at. So guys, it's time for me to announce this week's Photographer of the Week from our Facebook and Flickr groups for the 52-week project. So this week I'm going to be featuring Jasmine Merfeld. She's got some amazing images from her week 9 and I really felt like I had to feature them. They've got beautiful tones. Definitely go and check out her work. I've put her social media links in the description box below and also in the video. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I've got more 52-week videos coming out soon because I'm a little bit behind at the moment. But thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!